from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Welcome to another episode of the CyberHub Podcast, Tuesday, January 9th, 2023. I come to all y'all from the beautiful state of South Carolina, enjoying some, I'd love to say R&R, but I'm not on R&R. An amazing business trip's brought me here, and I'll be doing a show all week with the ocean right behind my back. So I guess, I can't complain. Thank you all for tuning in to our live show this morning. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter now, X, Rumble, anywhere you get your podcast content, or on your favorite podcast listening platform like Google, Spotify, Apple, and so many others that are out there that help us get this content to you to listen or watch. So thanks so much for tuning in this morning. We've got a packed show today, so we're going to get right into it. Now, our Substacks are in front of you. A lot of exclusive content on our Substack. The beauty of Substack, though, is you get one of these. Now, for those who know, I've been doing this show for almost 5 years now. I've constantly traveled, and when I travel, it's always hard to find an espresso. Not when you got our espresso travel mug, because I've got an espresso right here this morning, because I could go down and get it and keep it warm enough until we get the show going. So without further ado, join me for a coffee cup cheers this morning. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to talk about today. Let's go ahead and get going with Turkey observed targeting numerous public and private entities in Netherlands for intelligence gathering, according to the Dutch incident response provider Hunt and Hackett. Over the past year, an APT actor tracked a sea turtle or cosmic wolf, for one of the 732,000 names that we give threat actors and APTs, has been seen targeting government, telecom, media, and NGO entities, along with ISPs and IT service providers in the country of the Netherlands as part of an espionage campaign. Sea Turtle has been mainly focused on telecoms, media, ISP, and IT services organization, and targeted Kurdish websites, including some that are PKK affiliated. Obviously, for those who don't know, Turkey has for years been committing genocide against the Kurds, constantly attacking them and killing them. The Kurds were instrumental, by the way, in the fight against ISIS, and so the Turks are showing their definite true color in order to ensure that they oppress those people and commit genocide. The infrastructure of targets was susceptible to supply chain and island hopping attacks, which the attack group used to collect politically motivated information like PII on minority groups and potential political dissents, according to the firm. The APT likely used the stolen information for either surveillance or intelligence gathering, in line with previously detailed tactics observed in Sea Turtle attacks against organizations in Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. This is essentially the Chinese playbook on Uyghur descendants, as well as how they keep track of expats globally. Hunt and Hackett also observed the threat actor executing defense evasion techniques to avoid being detected. They've also observed collecting potentially sensitive data such as email archives. Their modus operandi includes intercepting internet traffic to victim websites and potentially granting unauthorized access to government networks and other organizations. Sea Turtle was initially detailed in 2019. It stood out because of its complex DNS hijacking techniques at the time. It's been associated with the government of Turkey, and so they're up there as well. Wiper malware is becoming more and more mainstream. If you recall, when the war between Russia and Ukraine broke out back in February of a few years ago, of 2022, we're nearly 2 years into the war between Russia and the Ukraine. Wiper malware was one of the things that Russia brought into the battlefield to kind of change the game up. And clearly at the time, we all understood that was just going to be the beginning of us seeing more and more wiper malware. We saw that since October 7th and the Hamas attacks on Israel, and then the subsequent kind of, the axis of Iran and its jokers essentially trying to deploy wiper malware against Israeli companies. Well, now we're seeing that the Iran attack on Albania that we talked about back in December is used actual wiper malware that researchers are calling No Justice. The attacks to the Iranian threat actors Homeland Justice targeted the Albanian parliament, 2 local telecoms, 1 Albanian Eagle Mobile, and Albania's flag carrier Air Albania. The attackers claim to have stolen data from the targeted systems, but the claim's not been confirmed. Israeli cybersecurity firm Clear Sky identified 2 main tools used in the campaign: No Justice, which can crash the targeted Windows OS in a way that it cannot be rebooted, and a PowerShell script designed to copy and propagate the wiper to other machines in organizational networks before its activation. No Justice had a valid digital signature to appear legitimate and required administrator privileges to wipe the data from the victim's computers. The attackers likely used publicly available tools for the attack, including a set of network communication software utilities called Plink, a tool known RefSox, employed for data exfil, command and control, or maintaining persistence access in a compromised networks, and a Windows 2000 resource kit, which can be used for reconnaissance and persistence remote access. The extent of the damage is not clear. However, local media in Albania is reporting that during the attack on the parliament, attackers attempted to interfere with the infrastructure and delete data, but were unsuccessful. According to the Clear Sky report, the attack on Albanian parliament followed the publication of an image showing Albanian parliament members together with Miriam Rajavi, president of MEK, which is the Mujahideen El Khalik, which is an Iranian opposition group in Albania. And Albania, by the way, is ethnically Muslim. They're very much against kind of the radical side of Islam for the most part. In September, Albania also reported that attackers linked to Iran's government targeted computer systems used by the national police to track individuals entering and leaving the country. Iran sees Albania as a major player there as well. So again, what we're starting to see this morning is essentially kind of the geopolitical game really dominating the cybersecurity threat landscape. And if you're anywhere within those crosshairs, you're a target. Wiper malware is now becoming more and more relevant. It's in the hands of the Iranians, meaning it moved from Russia to Iran. From Iran, it's going to roll out to other criminals who will hold. Imagine this version of ransomware where we're going to give you 12 hours to pay us, or we're going to deploy wiper malware and wipe everything. And if you don't have backups, or if you don't have the right backups, you stand to have to pay that ransom. If nothing else, that's the new version of ransomware that's coming to a company near you in 2024. I'm not saying that to bestow fear or FUD or anything of that nature. It's just the truth of the fact of what's going on globally today. The People's Republic of Korea, aka North Korea, has plundered $600 million in cryptocurrency in 2023, according to TRM Labs, that said that they were responsible for nearly a third of all funds stolen in crypto attack last year, despite a 30% reduction from their $850 million haul. They hauled in $600 million last year. So overall, they've stolen around $3 billion in crypto since 2017. So we see the North Koreans continuously target crypto in order to finance their illicit activities, in order to evade sanctions and everything else that's going on there. If you're in the crypto space, or if you're invested in crypto, you want to make sure to protect yourself in a few different ways. One, always make sure you've got an MFA. Never download something or add something to your wallet that you're not sure of. Constantly be on the lookout. All right, and don't make something too complex that you forget it, but also don't make it too easy for someone to guess, including your passwords or passphrases. QNAP Systems, based out of Taiwan, on Friday announced a series of patches for a dozen vulnerabilities across its product portfolio, involving several high-severity flaws in its OS. The first high-severity issue, CVE 2023-39 is described as a prototype pollution flaw. It does allow remote attackers to override existing attributes with ones that have an incompatible type, which may cause the system to crash. The bug affects several versions of QTS, including 5.1.x, and then the hero versions H5.1.x, and was resolved with the release of 5.1.3.2578 build 2023-1110. So that's been there. There's also additional CVEs and additional patches. The two other high severity flaws were addressed with the QNAP release 2.2.1, CVE 2023-47559 across site scripting flaw, and CVE 2023-47560 an OS command injection defect, you want to make sure to get your QNAP devices patched. Yesterday, we let off with the loanDepot cyber attack. We now have confirmed, thanks to the AK filed with the SEC, that it is a ransomware attack. At this time, loanDepot is not saying if they've had any sort of data leak. They're still going through the forensics and early detection parts of it. They joined Mr. Cooper as the latest mortgage company to suffer a ransomware attack. Iranian crypto has been exposed, according to researchers from Cyber News, that an oversight in Bit24.cash's Min.io left unprotected and open online S3 buckets storing user verification documents, including consent letters, passport information, and credit card details that exposed several Iranians, many Iranians who trade on the platform's data. Again, misconfigured S3 bucket, basic stuff that, with the right focus would have not happened. The official Netgear and Hyundai MEA Twitter, or aka X accounts, with around 160,000 followers, were the latest to be hijacked. If you remember, last week, Mandiant had their X account hijacked by criminals promoting a crypto type of investment opportunity. But really what it was a cryptocurrency wallet drainer malware. Hyundai has already regained access to their account, cleaned up the timeline of all the links pointing X users to malicious websites. Netgear has yet to take control of theirs, with some of the attackers' tweet replies still available. The attackers renamed the account of Hyundai Middle East and Africa to impersonate Overworld, which describes itself as a cross-platform multiplayer RPG backed by Binance Lab. Likely because it's frequently impersonated in similar scam, Overworld often warns its Twitter followers, saying, please exercise caution and stay clear of those impersonating our accounts. Both of those accounts were taken over, and crypto scams altogether. MFA on your social media account, team. MFA on your social media account. And finally, we'll end this morning's show with this detailed expose in the Netherlands by Stuxnet on the Stuxnet virus, which was unleashed in 2008 against the Iranian nuclear program. According to many, now what's coming true is that a Dutch spy was used to release the Stuxnet virus into the Iranian nuclear infrastructure. The Dutch government told Volkskrant, that the government understood that then 36-year-old Eric von Saban was working to sabotage the Iranian nuclear project. However, there was no knowledge of a cyber weapon of Stuxnet's consequence being used as part of the proceeding. The report detailed that Van Staben, working as an Iranian engineer, accessed an underground nuclear facility in Nantes, installed the Stuxnet virus, ultimately leading to the damaging nuclear centrifuges, setting back the effort by several years. The malware was likely hidden in a water pump he installed, according to the report. Shortly after he installed that, a few weeks later, he died in a motorcycle accident. According to the report, no foul play was suspected in his motorcycle accident in Dubai. And it remains unclear whether or not he was aware that he was deploying Stuxnet, or whether he was just someone they used for the attack itself. So some more shedding light on Stuxnet, and kind of, we've all heard the conference stories. Oh, they left a bunch of USBs in the parking lot and that's how they got it in. We're getting more and more to the truth some 15 years later. And hopefully we'll get the full story of Stuxnet at some point that'll be declassified, and we can actually do a case study on that as well. That's it for our show this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. with all the latest and greatest. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, y'all, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.